Amy, I think there's a couple more people hopping on. Otherwise, I know a lot of people are going to catch the recording. So I am going to record it. But for those of you guys who don't know Amy, she's one of my favorite people in the world. But do not let her sing to you in the morning before you've had your coffee. She's one of the people that
stay with me in any hotel.
Yeah, that too. Don't do that. She is one of the people who hopped on the Fit Forward coaching bandwagon with me and Sarah kind of right off the bat. And she was one of the 4 of us who went to the first summit 3 years ago now. So she's one of my very favorite people. And you guys, she is a coach to learn from. She's a star diamond, and she is somebody who knows how to persevere, get through tough times and bounce back even stronger. So I am so excited for you guys to learn from Amy, listen to what she has to say, and just have some major takeaways tonight. And I know it's the last night of May, so I'll try not to make this call go to where it cuts us off like last time. And if you guys want to hop on the Fit Forward Summit call afterwards, the Zoom link, I think, is in the team page. So, Amy?
Okay. Well, cool. This is the first time ever speaking on someone else's team call. So I'm excited. Well, besides Fit Forward, but whatever, that's different. So this is a huge honor, and I'm super stoked to be here. And sorry if I'm looking away, if it doesn't look like I'm looking into Zoom. I'm keeping an eye on my chat conversation with customer relations right now, too. So I get it. We're here at the final push for the month. But yes, like Laura said, I kind of have a little thing called perseverance and persistence that is just engraved into my soul, thank goodness, because life hasn't been easy. I guess a little background, like Laura said, I kind of jumped into this Fit Forward team right when it first started, like brand new baby coaches. Sarah was brand new. I was actually one of her very first challengers in her first challenge group, not knowing anything about Beachbody, 21-day fix, clean eating, nothing. I mean, none of it. But at that time, I actually just posted about it. I was at a huge turning point in my life. I was 13 months past or post loss. The father of my child had 13 months prior was recently killed in a car accident, and I was just ready to take ownership of my life. And it started with taking care of my health first, because I couldn't control anything else going on in my surroundings, but I knew I could control me. So that's kind of how I got started on my own journey with the 21-day fix. Shortly after that, 2 weeks into the challenge group, I was completely hooked. I loved it. I loved the sense of, I don't know, there was just something about that environment, that community, that time sweating out some big emotions. I just felt that little kick in the high knee that said, Amy, run with this. Run with this opportunity that Sarah has presented to you about coaching, even though I knew nothing about it, and just see what will happen. And I'm so thankful that I did. But my journey with life and my journey with coaching have a lot of side-by-side correlations. It's been a lot of ups and downs and hurdles and overcoming, but then setbacks and overcoming again. And it's really just been a roller coaster, and I've learned to find the joy in the journey. And that really just comes from the mindset. So, like I said, it just reminds me a lot of life. For years, I experienced the many roller coasters of the ups and downs, and it hasn't been easy, but it's been filled with life lessons that I've been able to help push me to be stronger and to be able to move forward no matter how steep that uphill climb might be of rank advancing, or like we are now in the final push of the month, and or final hours of the month. And it just seems like an uphill battle that we don't know if we'll make it to the top. But life struggles have helped me to become a better coach, and the coaching challenges have helped me to become a better person. Just a little background history of my journey with coaching and kind of the roller coaster I had been on. It took me about 3 months before I ever experienced my first cycle bonus as an Emerald coach. So now we have this like push to Emerald, and people are experiencing that success early on. And for me, I didn't. I had to push to kind of get a taste for what it even meant to be Emerald. A week later, I hit Emerald, or a month later, I hit Emerald, Ruby, and then a week after that, I hit Diamond. So it was about 4 months into the business until I hit Diamond. And then the real roller coaster began. I dropped rank. I can't even tell you how many times I've joked about it that I should be like a 7-8 star diamond, because early on I had reclaimed my diamond status so many times. And really, I don't think it has anything to do with my lack of consistency, to be honest, because I showed up and pushed hard. It just happened. And I could have thrown in the towel very easily, because it was quite discouraging knowing that I had been putting so much of my heart and soul into this business early on, and I had just setback after setback after setback. But I knew that there was something so magical and so powerful within this business, and I knew already that because life wasn't easy, why would this? And so I just kind of stuck it out. Because for one, I deserved to know what was possible, and I was really keeping my why at the forefront. And my why was my daughter. She was 2.5 when her father passed away. And at this point, when I started coaching, she was what then? 3.5, almost 4 years old. And I was bound and determined to create a future for her. But it was September into my coaching journey. So February, March, April, May, June, July. So about 7 months in, something kind of clicked. And it was when I heard a national wake-up call from Carl and Jeff, actually. And they talked about finding the joy in the journey. And, you know, Jeff was talking about how this experience that those two had together, that he was just full of excuses, and Carl was the one saying, I'm going for it no matter what. And I think that's where we find ourselves sometimes, where we're in the midst of some challenges, we're in the midst of some struggles, and we are faced with either turning towards our excuses and letting that consume us, or we're that other person, we're the Carl that says, I'm going for it no matter what, no matter how hard this is going to be, no matter how late I have to stay up tonight to make this work, no matter how many no's I have to get, I am going for this no matter what, because in the long run, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, in the long run, it's going to be worth it, because I chose not to give up. So that was like a huge awakening for me. And I decided to just become a Carl and continue to go for it no matter what. And to be honest, that month before, that August, that was awful. Laura, I'm sure you remember that. That was the first time I think we had all not hit Success Club, I think, for the first time. We had just come to the summit. We were on this high, and yet it was rejection after rejection after rejection in August. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And so having that call right away in September, a new month, I was just like, yes, here we go. Going for it no matter what, even though last month sucked. And so here are just kind of a few little takeaways that have really helped me not stay stuck in any rut or any defeating moment. And one is always just continue to trust the process and trust the basics that we should have engraved in us. It's so easy to walk away from the basics especially in all honesty, I feel like I slip away from the basics when things are going. Like when we have momentum going, we're like, all right, this is going good. And we kind of just get distracted with the good times and we forget to stick to the basics. And so what I've learned through getting through some hard times within the ups and downs in this business is reflecting on, like, what was it that kind of got me in this slump? And it would be what took place probably 2 months prior, and that was stepping away from the basics. So really just staying consistent on everything within this business, staying consistent with the basics, because then again, when you're looking back, when you are in a tough time, you can say, you know what, I went for it no matter what. And I know that I've done everything that I can do. And that should just be enough power and enough oomph to keep you pushing forward, because you're like, you know what, I got this. I'm going to keep trusting the process, trust the basics. And like, how many times have we heard too other top coaches share their kind of their aha moments within their business, or their turning points were kind of after they went through a little slump within their business. And to know that even though slumps are opportunities to grow and become stronger, like Laura kind of said, that I've taken every struggle, every challenge within this business to use it as a learning opportunity. Like, what can I do to make this month better? What can I do to change up my wording when I'm talking in messages or on my Facebook page? But hold on, I'm losing myself here. But yeah, and then also with the basics, it's really diving into your personal development. I know we hear this all the time too, that how vital that is in order to keep persevering and to keep pushing forward. But my most favorite thing to do with personal development, and actually I really needed to lean on it this month. I was in such a push mode moving into May, and I wasn't seeing the fruits of my labor come through. And I was feeling so defeated. Like, what is going on? Honestly, my business had completely crumbled here in the last couple of months. My volume had shot down so far. It's been a really tough time within my business and my whole team. And it's really been the power of personal development that helped me snap out of that, instead of kind of playing victim and having just like this big self-pity and kind of grumbling through the rest of May. I really turned to my personal development, and my personal development isn't always like what we hear people say, like get on the podcast or read these books. Mine really comes from daily devotions. And it was in that the power of prayer and the power of my personal development that I lean on, that I kept getting those signs too, that you just need to stay focused. Stay focused on the basics, stay focused on what you can control, and to stop forcing things and let things happen naturally. And it was like this huge fresh of breath air after I was getting these kind of little hint, Amy, little signs from God, that I actually started seeing a turning point here just in these last couple of weeks, that once I kind of stopped forcing this business to make things happen and just, like I said, stuck to the basics, those things started turning around. Another thing that has really helped me overcome a lot of the obstacles that I've faced within this business and within life is finding structure. And that really comes down to having our set business hours. When I don't have those set business hours, I feel utter chaos going on everywhere. And those tough times become even tougher because I just feel like I'm all over the place. And so it's kind of funny that Laura asked me to do this call at the end of the month, because I feel like it's helped me look back at how May has kind of taken an upswing, looking back at this whole month, because I went back to the basics, and how the months prior, this whole year, was like this slow downward spiral. And boom, May, I got back to what we're supposed to do, and I just feel this upswing coming, and it's just great. But anyway, so setting those business hours. I personally have really struggled this a lot because I am such a flighty type of person. But I have found and have been reminded this month that when you have set business hours, you are so much more productive and you almost feel like you can conquer the world when you have your set focus time, because in that focus time, you can get more done in that hour than what one could probably do in a whole day of wasted time. And it's just, I don't know. And it's one of those things too that I know helping lead training groups, a lot of coaches struggle with, like, well, how do I set business hours? And my life is so unpredictable and this and that. And honestly, it's one of those things that you just have to have trial and error with. Within the 2.5 years that I've been coaching, my business hours have changed multiple times depending upon what life circumstances I'm going through at the time. My life is completely different now than what it was when I first started, because now I'm doing this full time. And so just really finding a system that works for you. And if you have your set hours and you're finding that it's not working for you anymore, it's okay. It's okay to completely change them and make modifications. And then my third one that has really helped me push through this business is changing my way of thinking when it comes to rank advancement in Success Club. Instead of focusing on my rank goals and my Success Club goals, I have now really devoted a lot of my efforts to focusing on my behavior goals. And I've been really trying to stress this too within my team, and celebrating those behaviors, those actions, because if we're doing those actions and committing to those daily behaviors, those rank advancements and Success Club points start to happen more naturally. They just it flows together. And looking back at all my different months that I've now been able to experience in the 2.5 years, and even April to May or March to May of this year, it's totally true. I had to get myself out of that rank push because I was pushing for 5-star. And I was so consumed on that for the past however many weeks, that it totally messed up my whole mojo, my whole flow of everything. And nothing felt natural anymore about this business. I felt like I was forcing conversations, and it kind of got icky. And so once I snapped out of the whole pressure of pushing for this rank advancement, I got back to pressuring myself with the behavior goals. And getting back to number one, which was the basics. I asked myself what behaviors I want to put into action to achieve by the end of the month. So I wanted to be at Success Club 10 by the end of this month. And so I really had to buckle down and check myself. Like, what behaviors do I really need to get put back into action here so that goal I can say I accomplished it. My behavior goals are just a modified version of the Power Hour. I actually put together a Google Doc, a Google form actually, for my team, which it pretty much breaks down the Power Hour, but it's a really simple way for me to kind of keep an eye on who is also doing these behaviors. And at the end of the night, whoever wants to take advantage of this Google form, we just click yes, 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 yes. And it's just another tool that we've been trying to implement within my team to help hold each other accountable so that we can see who's doing the actions instead of just saying that they're doing it. But they're my daily to-dos, and they pretty much are the same thing every day. Once in a while, I have to kind of fudge things depending upon my day-to-day. But more often than not, Rank and Success Club happen when like I said, when I stick to this, when I stick to the basics and let things just kind of flow more naturally. I think Laura can kind of attest to that too, that when we get kind of in these rank pushes, we just kind of get a little scattered a little bit and lose sight of what we know works, and that's the basics. But I like the approach of focusing on the actions and the behaviors within my team, because we're doing it together then, where it doesn't feel like we're putting all this pressure of Success Club, but instead we're celebrating all these little baby actions along the way. And then we can proudly look back that no matter what happens here at 10:59, that we can look back at May and say, you know what, we owned it. We did what we were supposed to do, and we can be proud of that no matter what the final outcome is. Because at the end of the day, that's what's the most important part, is how we're applying ourselves. And I'm going to just step away from my notes a little bit, because I want to talk more about this persistence and perseverance. My favorite thing to kind of do a side-by-side correlation to as well with persistence and having that long-term success is relating it back to kind of the actions that we want to have within, or the behaviors and that long-term success that we want within our challengers. You know, we sit there and talk to our challengers, and they come to us about these plateaus that they're having. You know what? Fitness, we have plateaus. In our business, we have plateaus. In life, we have plateaus where just things feel very like, meh. And what do we tell our challengers? Throw in the towel? Give up? It's too hard? You're right. Just give up. You had a bad month, throw in the towel. Absolutely not. We would never, ever in a million years tell any of our challengers that when times get hard to just walk away. Forget the containers. Don't push play. Forget it. You're right. It's too hard. Your fitness journey is over. Oh my God, that we would be the most awful coaches in the entire world if we were ever tell our challengers that have hit a challenging time within their fitness journey or hit a plateau within their fitness journey to just walk away. And really that's what it comes down to with this coaching journey too. That I just wish everyone could kind of grasp that analogy or grasp that concept and know that it's okay when we have tough times within our business. It's okay if we are faced with challenges, because once we trudge through the mud and get ourselves through that, something happens within us. We get to experience this new awakening, because we realize that we are strong enough, that we are courageous enough to keep pushing forward. And we're just setting an example for all of our future coaches that we onboard into this family, because you get to share those tough times. You get to share those hurdles that you got to overcome. And I honestly think that that's one of the biggest blessings that have come out of this business, is the learning opportunities that come with the challenges. Is the financial success great? Is it the fact that I get to do this from home full time now? Is that great? Yes. But looking back, it's really those life lessons that taught me that I can do this. I wish that we could at some point celebrate when we dropped in rank. I know that sounds so ass backwards, excuse my language, but I just wish more people understood that it's not so easy, because we sit here and celebrate all like the big moments, the big Success Club moments, or the big rank advancements. And I wish that we kind of got down to the nitty gritty a little bit more and realize that we all face these challenges probably far more than we could ever comprehend and fathom. But I think it's hearing those struggles and hearing how everybody's overcome them that is so electrifying within this business. I love hearing the national wake-up calls and how the top coaches have overcome them. And I love hearing from our challengers and how they're overcoming some of their setbacks. And I think there's such a power in learning from those opportunities and not just celebrating when the success happens, but celebrating the journey that comes along the way. And I don't know. I don't know where each of you are all at in your business and what kind of hurdles you might be, or uphill climbs that you might be facing right now. But for the past 2.5 years, I don't think I've had one day that was easy within this business. Not one day where I wasn't faced with either a mental challenge that I had to kind of get myself out of, a physical of just being tired and not wanting to open up the computer because I was just exhausted, or, that emotional one, those emotional challenges that come along the way. But the joy that still comes each day far surpasses any of those challenges, any of those setbacks, any of those like roadblocks that just sometimes catch you off guard. And like, I know Laura wishes every single person that comes into this family would stay, that they wouldn't walk away, because 2.5 years later, I wouldn't change a damn thing. I wouldn't change the struggles of dropping Diamond 1,000 times because it wouldn't have gotten me into my own house where I get to live now with my daughter. That was the part that I didn't share with you guys, is that after Ty passed, I had to move back to my parents' house. 28 years old, living with my parents' house with a 2.5-year-old, that really sucked. But it was the safest place that we could be at the time, because they helped me kind of get my feet on the ground. But it was making that decision after he passed away to not give up on life and not give up on a potential amazing future for my daughter that landed me this opportunity to learn even more the meaning of never giving up. And I don't know, I just pray that all of you guys, no matter what obstacles you are facing, no matter what setbacks, no matter how many no's, no matter what objections, no matter how many times you drop rank and climb back up and whatever, do not ever give up, because there are magical moments that happen right after those not so lovely times. And they make it all so worth it. So I don't know. I kind of got on a rant there for a little bit. Do you guys have any questions? I don't really feel like I have any takeaways when talking about persistence and perseverance or whatever it may have been the topic. I just have my own personal, like, that grit. And if you don't have that grit to get through the tough times, you got to find it, and you got to develop it, and you got to train it just like we train our muscles. We'll hear that, training that mindset is just like training your muscles. You got to keep working at it. Same thing with grit. That grit comes from like right inside your soul, right inside your gut. And that also needs to get trained. And that you got to tap into that when it comes down to that nitty gritty time, like right now at 8:30.
8:32.
So find that grit. I didn't have it before I became a coach. I was just
what?
Me.
Both you did.
Not to the nth degree that I have it now, but
I don't believe that.
back in the day when I was a little old high schooler or in college, you guys, I was a completely different person. I wish that I could write a whole long post that gives that true transformation of that internal peace, but I'm most certainly not who I am today back then. But
no, you guys, more than anything, Amy, I think I wanted everybody to hear, and everybody who's going to listen to the recording, hear who you are and your story if they haven't before, because so many coaches, and myself included, will get down in the dumps if they have a slow month or a slow week, or, they can't devote the time they want, or, they make excuse after excuse as to why they aren't moving forward in their business. But I don't know anybody who has the mindset that you do and who looks at things the way you do, and more people need to. And so that's what I wanted you guys to see from tonight, and I hope you did. But I took a couple little notes because you had so many little nuggets in there that I just like Julie Cruz, I want to put on one of her shirts. But just stay positive and persevere, and know that there's something better on the other side of what you're going through. If you have a tough time with your business or in your life or something else, that persistence and persevering those are two of the biggest things you can have when it comes to coaching and it comes to your life in general. So Amy embodies that, and you talk with her for 2 minutes in person and she'll give you the biggest hug, and you'll walk away feeling that much happier. Unless it's 6 a.m. and she's jumping in your bed singing Ed Sheeran, then forget it. But I hope you guys rewatch this if you need it, because there are so many little things in there that she said that I wish we could have elaborated on, that are good reminders every day for why you haven't given up yet from coaching, and why hopefully you don't give up. So thank you, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome. Something that just popped in my head too is really, it kind of goes back to that fitness journey with our challengers, but that also comes from ourselves. Like, I am a diehard, I push myself hardcore in workouts on purpose, because it reminds me that even in the toughest workout, I can survive that. Then I can also survive life. Like, there's still a semi-correlation within that too. And if you're struggling in your fitness journey, you're struggling even in your mindset, I swear to you, go tap into Insanity Max 30 for a month. You don't even need to fully commit to the program, but just tap into some Shaun T love, and you'll be like, woo! He will completely transform your mind in those 30 minutes. So I don't know.
Actually, it's Shaun B now, Amy, because he changed his last name.
No, whatever. He's still going to be Shaun T.
Do you guys have any questions for Amy before we wrap it up?
All right, let's persevere here in the last hour.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll put the recording up on our team, and I'll send it to you too.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Good night.